Deji, formerly known as Comedy Shorts Gamer, has recently been gaining everyone's respect again after being looked at as a bit of a joke for the last few years. But how did he do it? Well, there are a lot of things he did which other people can learn a lot from, but before we can answer how he got his redemption, we first need to discuss his decline. Deji started his YouTube channel on the 1st of December 2011 after being inspired by his brother KSI, who had been doing YouTube for a while. He began uploading Halo videos and a few sketches here and there. After a while, he began showing his face more and more and making more IRL videos instead of video game videos. Those videos did alright, but whenever he made a video with his brother KSI, he always got way more views than his regular videos. This was one of the many issues which later would begin his decline. It always bothered Deji whenever people would say that he was in his big brother's shadow. It didn't bother Deji whenever people would recognize his brother's success, but it did bother him when people dismissed his own accomplishments to say that Deji would be nothing without KSI. The period between 2014 and 2017 was the period where Deji was pulling in 1 to 5 million views on each video consistently. He mostly uploaded pranks and FIFA videos, and the videos were always from 1 to 5 minutes long. During this time on YouTube, you didn't need to post videos that were 10 minutes or longer to get recommended by the algorithm. The only thing you needed to do was post short, funny, and entertaining videos, which is something Deji was really good at. And for that reason, he really excelled during this time. He posted almost every day and was steadily gaining a huge and loyal fan base. It seemed like nothing could go wrong for him. Until it did. On the 3rd of February 2018, KSI beat Joe Weller in a boxing match. After the fight, KSI called out Jake and Logan Paul for his next fight. Soon after, it was decided that KSI would fight Logan Paul and Deji would fight Jake Paul. However, this would be the beginning of the end for Deji. Shortly after the fight was announced, Deji moved into the Sidemen house to train with his brother for the upcoming fight. However, Deji almost never wanted to train, eat healthy, or even clean up after himself. He played video games all the time, ate junk food, and brought random girls over all the time. In this clip, we can even see KSI basically forcing Deji to train because he wouldn't do anything by himself.
DJ, stop! Stop it! Stop it, DJ! Go away! Oh my god, stop! Oh my, stop this! Josh! Josh!
One down.
After tolerating this behavior for a while, KSI and everyone else in the Sidemen house had enough and kicked Deji out.
Alright, so I kicked you out because you made our house disgusting. You never did any chores. You refused to listen to me when I repeatedly asked you to get rid of all the rubbish that you made from constantly ordering takeaways and never cleaning up after yourself.
After this, Deji stopped training with KSI and his boxing trainer Vidal, and instead went to Vic's boxing gym, or as Jake Paul called it.
And so he had to go to Vic's boxing gym, home of Zero World Champion.
Is anyone listening?
Come on in today to Vic's boxing gym. We train Deji, and that's it.
Down straight!
Vic's boxing gym would ultimately be yet another factor in Deji's downfall, because they were horrible coaches. They simply did not push Deji at all. They didn't make him eat healthy, and they didn't make him train nearly enough. And it showed when he fought Jake. Fight number 1. Deji was undoubtedly the underdog in this fight. Everyone expected him to lose mainly because everyone knew he didn't train nearly enough. However, Deji surprised everyone. I mean, he still lost, but he showed so much heart, courage, and natural talent in the ring. His team threw in the towel in the 4th round, but Deji still did some noticeable damage to Jake Paul. The main reason he lost the fight was he didn't have nearly enough stamina for a boxing match, but everyone agrees that if Deji had simply done enough cardio before the fight, he would have won. After his loss to Jake Paul, Deji's channel began to decline. The reason for the decline was that Deji simply stopped putting effort into his videos. He basically only made reaction videos and lower effort videos where he played a game with someone else for like 10 minutes. His channel was on the decline for about 2 years, and it hit rock bottom when KSI's friend and employee Randolph made a joke in Sidemen calling Deji's channel dead.
Name a dead YouTube channel.
Deji. Oh, wow, that's family. That's family, bro. That's family. I think that's two.
Deji did not take to the joke very lightly and proceeded to make a video dissing Randolph. This back and forth between Deji and Randolph ended with the two of them making a diss track on each other. Randolph made the first diss track when he accused Deji of taking edibles during a trip to Los Angeles. When KSI reacted to Randolph's diss track, he confirmed that Deji did, in fact, take edibles. That made Deji very angry at KSI. He accused KSI of picking his friend over his family, even though Deji was in the wrong, and KSI didn't even pick a side publicly. This back and forth between Deji and Randolph showed a very important thing about Deji's character. He simply couldn't take a joke, which ironically made him a bit of a joke himself and made everyone lose a bit of respect for him. Another thing that happened in the Deji and Randolph feud was that Deji became angry at his brother, and this anger would grow with each little feud Deji had with his brother or even just another member of the Sidemen. The anger KSI and Deji had for one another exploded on Christmas Day 2018. On that day, KSI came to spend Christmas with his family and hopefully resolve the issues they'd been having. But Deji was simply not ready to talk, and their parents, who had only been hearing Deji's side of the story for the last months, told KSI that everything was his fault. They said that because Randolph was his employee, he could simply tell him to stop dissing Deji. Deji ultimately ended up kicking KSI out. After that, KSI tweeted about the situation and told the public that, according to his family, everything is always his fault, which resulted in Deji losing a lot of subscribers. This made Deji even angrier at his brother, and in January 2019, he released a diss track on his own brother, which only made the situation worse. At this point in time, Deji's reputation was at an all-time low. So when the beauty YouTuber Tati made a long video exposing James Charles, Deji got an idea. Deji made a 40-minute long video on his brother KSI where he talked about everything KSI had done to him in his life. People started to see things from his perspective, and his reputation started to heal. After he made that video, he started to gain subscribers again, but only for a short time. Because when KSI made a 1 hour and 10-minute long response video, people started to realize that they were both in the wrong in some aspect. KSI showed in the video that Deji had some major flaws in his arguments, and that he was not as perfect as he tried to seem. After KSI's response, things between them slowed down. They didn't really acknowledge each other online, and they started talking to each other again behind the scenes. After putting the KSI drama behind him, Deji announced his return to boxing. This would be Deji's second fight, and it was against the TikTok star Vinny Hacker. Deji assured everyone that fitness wasn't going to be a problem in this fight. In fact, he told everyone that he was training 5 times a day. Everyone knew that this time Deji was going to finally unlock his insane potential. Except he didn't. He just didn't. In fact, he was in much worse shape than in the Jake Paul fight, and it showed. Deji's team knew that he was in such a bad shape that the game plan was to knock Vinny out in the first round because they knew the fitness wasn't there. But when that didn't work, Deji was just desperately trying to survive. He was so tired that he took a knee in the beginning of the 3rd round to get an extra 10 seconds of rest. The fight ended with Deji losing by TKO, and he had never been more of a joke in his life. After the fight, KSI made a video where he showed Deji some much needed tough love. He called him lazy, which had always been a massive problem for him all of his life. If KSI had made a video like that back in 2017 when Deji was beefing with Randolph, Deji would have snapped back and called KSI a hater. But this time, he didn't. Something deep inside of Deji had changed. No one can know for sure what changed, but it could have been the fact that his loss gave him a reality check. But this is one of the first times he received constructive criticism in a positive way. And the mere fact that he listened to the criticism with open ears made people gain a little respect for him again. Deji didn't really post much after his loss and said that he was just going to take some time off and focus on himself. He did just that, and soon after, he announced his 3rd fight against Alex Wasabi. And this time, he had to win. He told his fans that this time would be different. This time, he fired Vic's boxing gym and got a new coaching team. Deji's fans waited nervously for the weigh-in and... wait, he had finally done it. He had actually gotten into shape. His training was looking good, and he even stopped eating junk food. This was finally Deji's time. In fact, he was so confident that he even said this.
You are now. Are you gonna fight again, even if you lose?
No.
He was finally going to win. And he lost again. How? He made it through the entire fight in good stamina. His defense game was very impressive, but he just didn't throw a punch. He put so little pressure on Alex Wasabi that he had even had time to greet a fan in the middle of the fight. Okay. We can do this. In the next fight, Deji has to win. He has learned the value of hard work, he has experience, and this time he was fighting a guy who had a reputation for using his face as a shield in a boxing match.
No. Yeah. Defend yourself, Rosie. Defend yourself.
He's just refusing to look after himself.
The first rule of boxing is defend yourself at all times.
Yeah, I mean...
That's the first and the last rule.
He was fighting FouseyTube. This had to be the time Deji finally got his redemption. But wait a minute. For the first time ever, Fousey got into shape. And when I say that he got into shape, I mean he was looking like a Greek god. And it didn't look good for Deji, but this time, he actually won. And he didn't just win, he absolutely destroyed Fousey in the ring. He finally did it. And man, did it put a smile on my face. He had finally done it. He never gave up, he kept going, he learned how to work hard, he won, and most importantly, he gained everyone's respect. And that is the long story of how Deji learned that natural talent isn't enough, that hard work is everything. And just like that, Deji got his much-earned redemption. If you watched all the way into the end, thank you so much for watching, it really means a lot. It took such a long time to make this video, so it would really mean a lot to me if you gave it a like. Subscribe for content like this in the future, and once again, thank you so much for watching.